So good evening. Welcome to the Friday Study Circle. So I don't know if you're all aware, but we had started Sunlit Path. So that we decided that we'll take up at least one passage, go through it, and then we'll go on personal reflection, sharing comments. So I'll share the screen. So the first chapter was over. The second one is the value of education. And the passage name is One Dreams of Miracles. So anybody who's ready can unmute and share, read, however much one feels like. I think still one is okay with the pause.
I'll read.
Yeah, thank you.
One dreams of miracle when one is young. One wants all wickedness to disappear, everything to be always luminous, beautiful, happy. One likes stories which end happily. This is what one should rely on. When the body feels its miseries, its limitations, one must establish this dream in it of a strength which would have no limit, a beauty which would have no ugliness, and of marvelous capacities. One dreams of being able to rise into the air, of being wherever it is necessary to be, of setting things right when they go wrong, of healing the sick. Indeed, one has all sorts of dreams when one is very young. Usually, parents and teachers pass their time throwing cold water on it, telling you, oh, it is a dream, it is not a reality. They should do the very opposite. Children should be taught, yes, this is what you must try to realize, and not only is it possible, but it is certain if you come in contact with the part in you which is capable of doing this thing. This is what should guide your life, organize it, make you develop in the direction of the true reality which the ordinary world calls illusion.
I think it's weird that we were just talking about it, that how the children, I mean, just before this only, how one dreams of miracle when one is young. So, and I think this is without an exception, right? Like when you hear a child, the level is different, right? Like it feels like they're living in a different world. Everything is possible. The miracles are, the part of their true belief that yes, I mean, how beautiful it would be if we actually, all of us, were able to retain it. And we would, if not for, like it said, like mostly our teachers or our parents or anybody else or adults, because they couldn't retain it. It feels like that's real and that's a dream.
So we can actually share our dreams as kids. Badalji, Shardaji, Jayashree. And if they are not like at the moment just right available right now, maybe we can dig take 1 minute. And what was it that as a child we used to really, really look up to and get inspired towards, and knowing that yes, it can happen. But then it was, of course, some cold water was thrown, definitely. But still, I think it's we can still get in touch with that space which feels that everything is possible. And that is how people who inspire us, they have done these tasks because they never thought that, oh no, this is not possible, oh no, don't even think about it. They never thought like that. They followed their passions, whatever they were. And those passions only later come on news, or we get inspired, books are written about it, that I had a dream and I followed it. So yeah, anything, it may be stupid, it may be silly, but we don't have to bother about that. Yes,
Okay.
Jashi. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Uh, I wanted to do course on or interior designing, but then it never happened. But wanted to do something for myself, like so that everybody can see my creativity. Then couldn't pursue any course as such. But during the pandemic, I started working on drawings, and I never knew it's called mandala. And now it's really, I mean, in a way it's going good. I'm getting orders in a month, 2 or 3 orders, which is good for me. It's like I take almost 10 to 15 days to finish one. So I never thought that I will do something like this, uh, at least in 40s. Because before wedding I was working for 5 years, then I quit my job and got married. So never thought I'll earn something myself which will give me so much happiness, and it will show my creativity at the end of the day. So that is one thing I really feel good about myself, and it makes me really happy.
Beautiful. So, this aspect of beauty, because in interior decoration also there is this aspect of beauty and harmony, that is calling us. So, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, anyone else? Sardaji, Badalji?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to learn. See, I'll say something, stupid, but still, I'll share. Yeah, I wanted to, learn music. I wanted to do BA music, but in our family, one of my cousins, he said, no, nobody will listen if you sing. So it was so hurting for me because, from my childhood, I would love to sing. If anybody asks me to sing, I will sit and sing immediately without any hesitation. That was, you know, that was my character always. So when he said like that, then it was hurting me so badly. Then if nobody will respect music, then why people are learning? At my class 12, I was feeling very, very bad. See, people are not giving respect to music. So that was there in my mind. Then I did something else. I did my economics, and after that I got married. But now, connected to music, I'm doing something. I'm teaching slokas. So now I'm feeling very happy. See, nothing is waste. I couldn't do what I wanted to do, but still I'm doing something which is giving me happiness. So
Beautiful. Yeah. And that too, that which is coming naturally to you. So, for example, not everyone can think about teaching shlokas, right? So, that's what mother says, that these are the things which we have to dig out, find in ourselves, and then nurture these capacities.
now when my student, she lives in Australia, she sang in one of the concerts, and she recites shlokas there. So she shared all the pictures with me. I'm feeling very happy. What you taught is very good. So I felt really very, I was so delighted hearing that. So it's not important that how we teach, but people who receive it and if they reproduce it, it's really good, no? So I'm very happy. So this is the incident. Yeah, I felt very hurt when that person said, "Not for me, but how can someone feel like that? Music, nobody can erase that. Otherwise, everything has some rhythm. Everything is important in this world." So I'm happy that I'm able to do a little bit now, which gives me happiness. Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. I think that's what we have to just persist, even if people, of course, people will say something, every time. Even big people who have done something really great, people talk about them, but that doesn't stop them from following what they are doing. So, yeah. Yes, Patanji?
In fact, I was born in a remote village, so there are a lot of local practice is there, like from the first time solid food is given to the child, so there is a ceremony. So there are three things kept there. One side is pain, one side money, and one side something. So each child goes by crawling to the this thing. So it has been taken that okay, pain, so that means he wants to study, or somebody is going towards uh, the coin which is kept there. So they feel that. So that sort of culture was there in India. So from as mother was saying that from the beginning we have been our fate has been decided or by the parents and then by the teachers and the society or the environment where we are growing. Yes, because everybody thinks that we don't know anything when we are born and everything from outside we are gathering. So when I was in the school, I remember the class 10, there was a board examination in 1965. So someone told that there's supposed to be test examination before uh, the final takes place. After 3 months, there will be final board examination, but before that, there will be test. The school will decide that who can be clearing that examination. Only those people will be taken. So the correction is very tough. So in that, there is one book available that combination of all the question papers by the different boards, which was test papers, which was done. Somebody told that if you there are 20 papers, if somebody solves these 20 papers, and they will be definitely getting good marks in mathematics. Someone told, I don't know who, and I finished that. So one night in the evening, I decided to finish, so I purchased 20 sheets of paper, one ream, it was called as one ream, and I started in the evening, and in the morning, I finished all these 20 papers. And there was something, one or two I could not solve. So then I went to our math teacher in the school and those also I said. And finally, when it happened in the board examination, something funny took place. These all the questions I could answer 100%. And I did not read anything else. I started solving all the papers. It was question was there are 10 questions and all are having two parts, A and B or C and D. So it's out of these four, only two were supposed to attend, A and B or C and D. So I started doing everything and I have finished all the math in that. So in the final result came out with 90 marks. And school normally the children used to fail in mathematics in the board examination, but here the record breaking. I got 90 marks. So I also did not know that what has happened to joy and happiness inside. One thing came to me at the time after this that anything we try sincerely, that will happen. Means something is there in us which will happen if you're sincere to it. And with that faith, even when I was to join as an officer in armed forces, we were taken to the department where we thought one slogan was written on the wall. There is written that impossible we do at once. Miracle takes a little longer. Like Mother is talking about miracles. The name of the chapter itself is a miracle. So I got tremendous that anything anybody is to face. Because as an officer, I'm facing a lot of issues and problems day to day and all those strategic and tactical and all this. So people used to come. So I used to say yes, it will be done. So once my boss called me, he says that why you say yes? I said that because it is possible. You tell me what you want, and I will make it possible. So he got convinced that yes, it is possible. It shows, he was little surprised that nobody has told him like this. The moment somebody calls, I said, yes, good morning. So the first call. So he said, why do you say yes? Is it means whatever you are going to tell, the job will be done. You are expecting something from me. So that will be done. So that is why I say yes. So this is a positive outlook. So in short, we have everything in us, but only thing we are earlier there was a system like Gurukul and all this where the children are devoid of all such impediments which have been put by the parents and well-wishers and all these initial stages. So that Gurukul that has been taken care of, but we do not have. We do not have. Yes, let the child grow on its own, and so that system is not there. So naturally, all of us, 100%, we are affected by something or other. And every time we say, there is a yin yoga, he is weak in math, weak in English or something and all this. So we do all those, and like mother is telling that we put cold water in it. This is the way. But when my grandchild was born, and I went for that ceremony, that 6 month ceremony. In that, it took some the rice, that murmura or something. So the child was not in a position to put the thing in the mouth, but it was trying to put in the mouth. So when I gave this murmura to him in Australia, they were in Sydney, so it was not available there, so I carried from home. So when I put that, and one had fallen on the ground, I saw the child immediately lowered the head, and with the tongue, he picked up the murmura. So then I told everybody, now also I say that we are underestimating everybody. Because everybody, all of us feel hungry when we are born. So the mother knows. And and this child, we have not taught him that, if your finger is not reaching mouth, you can lower your head and eat the tongue. You can touch the murmura and it will come to your head. The children, I feel that everybody is so great, everybody is born. They're actually God, in that form, or God and goddesses. There's nothing less than that. But by our estimation and all these remarks and procedures and customs and all those, so we are creating problems in the society. So do not know how to do. Thank you. I think I have taken more time.
Like you were sharing that the child already has this innate instinct to go towards food. But what we usually do is we don't let the child come to food. We provide the food on the table, so the that instinct doesn't get worked upon, to go forward and use his movements and get stronger through those movements. So it's like a reward only. And mother says actually that one must rewards also have their proper place in education or growing up, because it makes you move forward. So it's better than inertia again. So food is a reward for the child. He'll get whatever, a new taste, a new sensorial something, and let him move because of that. But we usually, again, in our uh, luxuries, we, yeah, don't provide that much opportunity. We provide the food right where the child is.
I didn't really, Captain, did he answer the question that what was his dream as a child? I didn't maybe catch that. Did I?
I
Or
think
maybe
he
the
was
voice
referring to,
wasn't.
he was actually referring to his 10th class, this maths actually,
Yeah,
that he was good at
yeah,
it and he kept doing
yeah.
it. So
Okay.
before 10th, I think maybe 1-to-1 required with captain. Yeah.
Actually, we don't remember how the things happened. So when you start remembering actually the breaking point or something, so that we remember because by the time we were knowledgeable, um, everything was made readily available actually in the childhood. So we do not know much. Like every moment we cannot remember. Every moment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And maybe that suddenly it doesn't come up, maybe when you are in your silences, then you maybe connect with that more.
Yes.
And also, this miracle thing that you were sharing, mother also, I think in Savitri there is this line, then miracle becomes the common way. When we begin to live from the depth of our hearts, then what seems impossible, as you were sharing, it actually becomes possible. And people can say, oh, it's a miracle, but
Yes.
heart and that call from within can do anything.
Yes.
Yes. Mm. And this, regarding education also, we were lately listening to, so in Sri Aurobindo's ashram, Delhi, the management, or the head here is Tara Johar. Maybe some of you may know her. So she was sharing in her interview after Padma Shri. She was recently given Padma Shri, and she was sharing about her childhood and how she went to Pondicherry, met the mother first, and all that. And then she shared that I told mother that at 14 years of age, I don't want to study anymore. Now, mother said, okay, you don't want to study, don't study, then what do you want to do? And then she said that I would like to do sports. I'm good at sports, let me do sports. So, and slowly she focused, as you were talking about sincerity, she put the channelizing of energy was towards sports, all kinds of sports that were played there. And also then she slowly took up charge of administration, supervising, and because she was good at it. Now I think this is also nowadays very important, because nowadays we give so much importance to education, and that too this very structured kind of education of other subjects that we read, chemistry, physics. Now many people don't have caliber for that, they are not born for that, but it doesn't mean that they are any less. तो आजकल वो जो बना दिया सुपीरियर इन्फीरियर, अगर पढ़े लिखे नहीं हो तो यू आर इन्फीरियर, है ना. While those of us who may have gotten in touch with people, house helps or maids around us, oh my god, they may be illiterate, but in some of the areas they are very very glowing, radiant, and like nobody like them. So I think now look at her, Tara Didi. Now she is managing the Delhi ashram and further ashrams from the Delhi, and then Padma Shri awardee. Who can imagine a person who is dropped out of 8th or 9th, whatever class, is given Padma Shri? So I think it also is very inspirational for us to know that education, this so-called British system of education, is not everything. And everyone is born with different abilities, different talents. It doesn't have to be these subjects only. We must not measure just by this one stick everyone. We are not boxes. बट वही है कि हमारे साथ होता अक्सर ये है कि हमें ये पता है कि ये नहीं करना, लेकिन हमें कोई आइडिया नहीं है करना क्या है, और ना ही हम करना चाहते हैं. वी आर लाइक इन तमस एंड इनर्शिया, नहीं नहीं ये मुझे ठीक नहीं लग रहा, दिस इज नॉट अप टू माई परफेक्शन, यू नो, दिस इज नॉट what I want. So we don't even give ourselves sincerely to anything. And mother says that before we get to know our true calling in this life, whatever works on the way, temporary works that are given to us, we must do with a sense of service. You know, how can I offer this to mother, you know, that is how I will do this work, even though I know that this is not the true call of my being, but whatever is there right now I will do like an offering. So I think that bhava, that intention of offering yourself in any small little way, that brings a lot of contentment also. We are not postponing our contentment that when I get to know my true purpose then I will be content. So we don't postpone contentment and joy, as Sardaji was sharing.
Uh, there is one Swami Sarvapriyananda. He's from Krishna Mission. He's in US actually. He's a minister in church, and there are a lot of YouTube lectures. And he's a very busy person. It's not difficult to meet him. Like so much of business he has got, Vedanta classes and all that. So he was mentioning that there are some Indians here who come to the mission. He's in New York. So he says, the one person came and he's telling, Swamiji, I'm very young, in 30s, but I got a lot of money. And the parents told me that, you study science, then you do the computer engineering, and this and that and all this. And I followed very strictly. I got a lot of respect towards my parents and I followed that. And I did whatever they said. But when I asked them that what should I do with this much money? I'm in the US, I earn a lot of money. Now that the father says that I don't. He said, so now you advise me what I'm supposed to do with this money. So like that, we are by the parents and always they say that the child should be self-sufficient. So you must study something by which you can get a job or this and that and all this. In India, usually, yeah. But what I saw that not a single person has been told after this what means what parents wanted after this what that no parents are told. Maximum they can say, okay, you buy some flats and invest money here, there, and this and that. Other than that, nobody can guide actually. What will be the best possible way to my liking, means the child's liking. That I think nobody has guided. This is one of the lacuna in our system. In the US, what I saw, there is a system. Not that I am an educationist, but I used to see that when you go to the museums and things like that, like Washington DC, there are plenty of, and the school children, college, university, everybody is going there to learn something. There's a total, you are exposed to everything from the beginning. And there is a video, there's text written there, and all this and all that. Anything and everything, say like space. If you go to the space, whatever exploration has taken place so far, every information is available there. So likewise, the science museum, history museum, so like that for everything there is museum. And you can spend days together actually in one of the museums that you will not be able to finish. Like Apollo program I was saying, Apollo 1, Apollo 2, Apollo 3, Apollo 4. What are the changes they brought in and why, how the launch and every detail is available there. So, like encyclopedia actually, it is in front of your eyes. So, their exposure is something else. Their parents are not thinking like that he has to earn money or, just stand on their own feet. They are left free a little bit more than their freedom is more than what in Indian system, what I could see. So probably they have understood. Swami Vivekananda, when he came here, then he told the same thing actually. There, the girls, the women, and all these, they've been doing their sex, and all are left free. They can learn from the things from all those actually. How I grasping the subject matter, not like structured. In India, the structured type of thing you put in that. You do this, so you'll be good in mathematics or physics or chemistry or science and all this. So here, I feel that they're not that strict. People say that their math is not good and all that, but they say that what I need not to do, why should I learn that? So, like from the childhood, I've been learning so many things which I could never use, in the actual life situation. Like I was in Bangalore, so I was following the mathematics, the perpendicular distance is the shortest distance. So the crossing road, everybody is crossing, they start from here and the longest route in the road they will take. It's a busy road. So if you're looking the other side of the road and facing the perpendicular distance, the distance is very small. So they will take the mobile in one hand and going in the other direction. It is the responsibility of the biker or the car to see which side you will be going and always crossing the road. So the majority of the places they don't follow that. So I was following this principle as a result. I was hit by one of the vehicles which they are not supposed to come from the left. They have taken from the right and they pushed me. I was going in the shortest distance actually straight. I crossed the half of the road. And so left side this thing is over. Now I have to take care of the right side. So I was looking at the right side and I was crossing. And then one vehicle came from the other side and so when the chap was contacted, he says, why did you break the rule on the left lane? You're not supposed to be going. Why you have come? There is a divider and all those are there. He says there was a lot of traffic on that side, so I was hurried to go to office. So that's why I'm telling this. And so what I'm trying to say is that there's so much of guidance, and so much of rules, and all are there. There's mathematics, Pythagoras theorem, and all this were taught. But we could not use them much actually. All the things which all of us are established in some system or other, but it is not in all the systems which we started. You are talking about Madam Tara Johar, like she said that yes, I want to go into sports field. So very less people they get chance of this nature. Yes. That I will select on my own, and I will go in that path. Yes. Society where we are brought up, that does not permit us to take this decision. Thank you.
Captain, there's something not okay with your mic. I mean, either you have to hold it like close like you did last time, or you might have to get a new set, like half of it is audible. I mean, especially I think the ones
Yeah,
we are wearing
sorry. Yeah,
headphones. Yeah,
last time
this
you
is
told me.
perfect. So next time
Yeah,
you either, yeah,
yeah,
because I think the ones who we are wearing headphones, it's still audible,
yeah,
but
yeah.
otherwise it's very faint. Yeah, this
No,
is,
thank you for reminding. Thank you.
yeah. You know, I had recently traveled to Himachal, and there people were standing with their kids when they were, waiting for the school bus. And the expressions on, I remember two of the fathers, I mean, it was very sacred. It was like that, okay, it's the best possible thing I'm doing for my child, right? Like that's how, just, talking about the perception of schooling and education. And when we talk about collective, right, that how we are so motivated by it, it doesn't seem like a possibility that, he doesn't want to go to school, he doesn't want to study. Like, it's like, but that is impossible, right? Like, and if one is going to school, there's just so much hope, there's just so much sacredness to it, right? That it's how much it is in a system. It's very shocking, and there's so many articles, right, that how I don't know which general or somebody had written to the British government, it doesn't feel that we'll be able to manipulate or rule over the Indians, and then they were directed that hit their education system, right? Like just tell them that they are inferior and they need to, this is what will give them something. I remember, like, and I think I was very little. I didn't want to go to school. I was maybe 4. I was in kindergarten or nursery. So I told my mama I was crying in the morning and I said, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. So she took my hand and she made me sit where, one of our girls used to sit who used to wash the clothes. She made me sit there and said that, of course, that's fine if you don't want to go to school, but then what will you do? Obviously, you'll wash the dishes and you'll wash the clothes, so sit and do that. So then I sat there for 2 minutes. I said, I don't even want to do this. And then she said, okay, then you must go to school because, this perception that this is the bare minimum, right? Nothing is possible without that education. It's so apparent, like it's so sold so apparently. Not, I am sorry, I didn't mean to say it's so apparent. So when people talk about schools that talk about, unlearning or no degrees, no diplomas, it, for most, it's understand, it's not possible to even understand what you're talking about, right? That, but how will we prove then that education happened? So just, I don't know if I'm able to say what I'm feeling right now, but it seems like it's really muddy and it's really into our bones that yes, without this basic education of everything that we do, at least we want 10th pass, and then there are different things that we want 12th pass. Like we don't look at what the person is. That's how, how everything has positive and negative. Like with this online medium and stuff, it's so good that the world has become so small, and yet we are reduced to a lot of just just our resumes and just our degrees, because you don't have that personal interaction. When you see a person, when you meet a person, there's a different energy that comes through, which is not possible on these paper and stuff. But, and about these dreams, I was just reflecting when everybody was sharing. I mean, sometimes we do have moments, like Sardaji was sharing, that why did that person say what he said? And so two things here. One thing is, how, why do we believe, in the sense, the kids, I think, are very innocent and they just feel that if an adult had said something, it must be true. What do I do that my child doesn't do, just get swayed by anything? I think one thing is there. And the second thing is, I forgot. I'm so sorry. Yeah, but we all, yeah, I was saying that I don't even remember that. How did I reach where I reached? Like I too had more dreams, and how when something more practical is shown to you, easier, practical, which makes more sense. I don't even remember feeling that, oh, but I wanted to do that. Like now when I'm reflecting or whenever I've reflected, it's just like when you are saying goodbyes to people, you remember there are moments, right? That okay, now I'm going somewhere else. I don't even remember. It just happened. So I don't know what word to use. So this thing about valuing what one wants is missing, because it's so much into the collective that this is it. You do this, then you do some bachelor's and something that sells. I remember being witness to one of those conversations when, my brother-in-laws, two of them, were deciding about my nephew. And the topic wasn't what he wants to do. The topic was which pays the most these days, right? Okay, he is going to that university and that is the course that everybody wants because that is what is selling these days. And like Captain said that, okay, money, 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 but what will I do? What will he do with all that? That's the problem, right? We never go till the end. We just look at, okay, this is what I'm getting, the low hanging fruit. And this perception, how the money, I think, again, in extremism, like yesterday we were discussing, I don't know where that, how when we keep saying no to money, it goes into the asuric hand, right? It's shunned. And the other extreme is we feel this is it, right? Money is what will give me a standing in the world. It will give me protection. It will be my safety net. It will be the ground I stand on. So either it's shunned or it's just you run after it blindly. So it's the balance somehow that, yes, I do need it for my survival, but surviving is not all I do. I live too, right? Like that thing somehow seems to be a bit more needs working at from our end.
आई थिंक ये स्कूल के ऊपर इतनी डिपेंडेंसी इसलिए भी है क्योंकि एज एडल्ट्स वी मोस्टली बिकम वेरी स्टेगनेंट. So I may be a parent to a very little child, है ना, who is growing up, but I myself have stagnated. I myself have settled down. अरे भैया तो इसको क्या कर रहा हूँ, है ना, तो चलो स्कूल भेज दो, अब कुछ तो कराना है, बच्चा पैदा कर दिया. बच्चे तो ऐसे ही पैदा कर देते हैं ना, हम फ्री फंड में भी एक्चुअली कि क्यों चाहिए, क्योंकि ग्रैंडफादर को चाहिए तो लो, हाजिर है. So that's how we produce babies. We don't produce most babies are not produced consciously. वो तो हमारी virtually हालत है ही. And then when they are there, now what to do? Just like you were sharing, what to do with the money, what to do with the baby. So you channelize his energy, we send him out. So I think this also, if one can become more conscious of it as adults, if I can, as an adult, if I can become a conscious learner throughout my life, no matter where I am learning, through this or through that or through this or through that, doesn't matter, outer circumstances, I'm just learning and enjoying the progress through learning. So then if a child is with me, the child also sees, okay, learning is possible everywhere. It's not that only schools are the places where I learn. I think that's where the division you were sharing, that sacredness, that we give to schools. और वो भी जो दिखाया जाता है ना कि अच्छा तुम्हारा बच्चा एजुकेटेड है ना, तो एज इफ की खुश है, कंटेंट है, क्या कर रहा है, वो नहीं बात करी जाती. द एजुकेटेड है, अच्छा इतनी गाड़ियाँ जो भी है, उधर नहीं जाते. बट आई थिंक दिस, इफ वी कैन कीप अ लर्नर्स एटीट्यूड थ्रू आउट, because mother says progress brings us joy. So if even at this age, like Captain Sharda ji, even us, we are not young that much. If we can continue that process of learning and progressing and developing throughout, which has no end actually, since divine is infinite, learning is also infinite. So I think that can take care of this, also the challenge that we face with what to do with the child. So okay, send him there because I don't know. So if I am in the kitchen, the child is learning. If I am in the bathroom, the child is learning. So everywhere learning is happening. And we must also respect all these places of learning also. Not only that, no school, the exam, the study, that is, kitchen is also important. Going to the market, getting stuff, that is also important. So I think that's where we can become thoda all inclusive. What Taru was sharing, that I think it's what Lord Macaulay, hai na? Macaulay, who kind of used this strategy to uproot the Gurukul system and bring this British system of education. And it's amazing that we are still following it. That's really amazing. And we call ourselves so free.
And mostly how monotonous it is. Like Captain was sharing in 1965 board exams, 2022 board exams. The biggest thing in Corona, board exams didn't happen. You know how it's like, I mean, our extent to these norms, these processes, these structures, right? So right now, like you're saying, that learning is happening everywhere. It's a fact. And yet the structure of a school feels like, okay, wahan pe theek ho rahi hai. I will not see the joy they are having here. There's something, right? Like maybe because I don't know
Yeah, I think वही है कि
myself.
if as an adult I have never reflected over it, you know, what am I doing with my life? Where have I reached after so many years? अगर वो reflection नहीं है, I can't somehow transmit it to the child also. And if I see that, okay, I may not have educated much, or even if I have educated, what is my, as Badal ji was sharing, कि उसका यूज़ क्या था, वो जो 14 साल पढ़ाई करी वो कहाँ है, वो अभी तो मैं यूज़ कर नहीं रही. You know, so what really matters to me, if that I can transmit to the child growing up, what truly really matters each moment of life, I think that is the fulfillment each one is looking for, through even through that money aspect that we were talking of. And if those of us who have money, have we ever asked them how fulfilled they are through the money aspect? It's not to shun away the money. Money comes, you take the money, use it for good purpose. But the idea is that if somebody says today that money will bring me suffering, will I still want that much money? So what I'm actually looking for is not money. I feel that money can give me satisfaction, contentment, happiness. Is that true? How many wealthy people are very satisfied and jovial and, you know, fulfilled? So yeah, definitely questions worth asking and reflecting. And if as an adult I don't do that, then it's for sure that my child will just go into the same groove, because I would not even question the importance of these things, you know, कि नौकरी चाहिए क्यों, है ना, क्यों कर रहे हैं जॉब, क्यों जा रहे हैं कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में, मतलब औचित्य क्या है. You know, and ultimately औचित्य यही दिखता है. उस दिन वीरेन से, you know, your nephew you were talking about, I was asking him, मैंने औचित्य क्या है मनी का. And today, if I tell you that money will bring you disease and suffering, will you still want it? So you won't want it. What you actually want is joy and happiness, which you can have anywhere. Why to stop myself? That if only for money, then I will be happy. तब तक मैं बेकार रहूँगा. Why to postpone that joy and contentment at all? So I think our priorities have to really shift. वही जो आप उस दिन भी हार्मनी सर्कल वाला भी जो बता रहे थे, पीस ऑफ माइंड, इफ दैट इज माई प्रायोरिटी, है ना, सो देन okay, that I can try everywhere. I can learn how to keep stable that peace of mind. Then it doesn't matter. Then I would not wanting to be myself, you know, hold true myself in an argument. So that would not be an important thing. Now, okay, let the other person win. I want the peace of mind. So in that moment, it has to be remembered. You know, the trivial battles in which I take a stand. No, you know, I am right. You are wrong. I'm talking of the trivial ones, not the real ones. There I can actually preserve the peace of mind. Let go. Let the other person win.
You know, this thing that first we spend so much time, years and years of our life, along with a lot of investment into the education, right? And then you have to join corporates and earn because so much money has been invested in you. So now you have to earn it back, right? Like itna time, effort, struggles, money to be someone who can earn money so that the money that has been invested can be returned, मतलब with more interest and stuff. But somehow it feels कि because कुछ बड़ा नहीं पकड़ा कभी, right? Like because I don't know what else to do or where else to guide, and this seems like a set process. It becomes a default, right? Like, but maybe there are people who are capable of not following, but now that it has become a default, we are not given that out, right? Like, unless somebody is really strong and they say, I don't agree, and they go their own way, it doesn't happen. Like, the
Absolutely.
default or a choice has become a rigid norm that this is the only way.
एंड वही जो सुपीरियर इन्फीरियर की बात कर रहे थे ना, कि अगर आपकी एजुकेशन पूरी नहीं हुई है, लुक एट हाउ वी ट्रीट people. We actually have this categorization that if somebody is 7th pass, 8th pass, you know, our tendency is to treat him like something lower.
Yeah.
I think there we need to correct our दिमाग जो फिरा हुआ है ना.
Should I go on and let's finish at least?
Yeah, yeah.
One can, I don't know, go on for another hour on reflecting on this, how far we have come. Great. Here, right? We had read till here, so yeah. Anybody who would be okay reading the rest?
Yeah, Taru, can you please make the font a little bigger, please? Yeah, thank you. This is what it should be. Instead of making children ordinary with that dull, vulgar common sense, which becomes an inverate habit, and when something is going well, immediately brings up in the being the idea, oh, that won't last. When somebody is kind, the impression, oh, he will change. When one is capable of doing something, oh, tomorrow I won't be able to do it so well. This is like an acid, a destructive acid in the being, which takes away hope, certitude, confidence in future possibilities. Beautiful.
Yes, Adaji, you can just finish it, I think.
Yeah. When a child is full of enthusiasm, never throw cold water on it. Never tell him, life is not like that. You should always encourage him. Tell him, yes, at present things are not always like that. They seem ugly, but behind this, there is a beauty that is trying to realize itself. This is what you should love and draw towards you. This is what you should make the object of dreams, your ambitions. So, Taru, can you please go back to the previous paragraph? Yeah. So this is not only for children, right? For all of us also. Automatically we think today this is happening and tomorrow we do not know whether this will happen or not. But this idea has come from where we don't know. Not having the hope. So we do have hope, but many a times it doesn't seem that, we are very positive.
I think the moment we begin to think that I am an adult now, we almost lose ourselves. And if I can just all the time kind of have that faith and belief that I am a child of that mother, I am the child of universe, and we are all children, we are all learning, चाहे कितने भी बड़े दिखे छोटे दिखे, it doesn't matter actually. तो ये again definitions, that who is a child and who is an adult. Child, look at children, I think they tell us how to live actually, but we kind of overwhelmed with what should be happening in life and just take away that magic which they have, I mean, so naturally there, which they can sprinkle on us. So this dull, vulgar common sense, I think this is so equivalent to the so-called adults. And kids are like, कुछ भी चलता है उनके लिए, मतलब no day, no night, every time there is a possibility of something beautiful happening, that joy that they carry. And that's why I think as adults or as grandparents, we want children in our house, because our own lives are so dull that at least there are some children around, so it's fun to at least watch them, if not be like them. So how good it would be when Shardaji, you shared that It's not only true for children but also for adults. And I wanted to say that we are all children of the mother. If only I can just buy that for now.
Yeah.
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 And if I am
Very
a
true.
child, I will be learning throughout. I can be joyful throughout, and I can do all the mad things throughout, not caring about who would be thinking who, what, like children do. उनको बारिश में खेलना है तो खेलना है, उनको ये नहीं है कि कपड़े कौन साफ करेगा, एंड ये कितने कितने रुपए की बनियान थी या कितने रुपए की टी शर्ट, वो उनके दिमाग में नहीं आएगा, है ना. अपने ही दिमाग में आता है, अरे अरे इसको पहन के मत जा सैंड पिट में, ये हमारे दिमाग में आता है.
I have a 2.5-year-old nephew and he loves the rain, but he's not exposed to it too much for some reason. So the other day, my mom was sharing that it was raining, right, in Delhi recently, 2, 3 days back. So we were on the rooftop. We were just like looking at it with wonder, ki ye ho kya raha hai, wow, wow, wow. Then he sat down on the chat. Then he lied down and started licking the water out of the floor. And for all the adults, it was like, oh my God, usko roko, right? But there was so much joy on his face. Like how in the name of, I don't know, like dirt and again another confession that when my child went to school, like Shikshantar, which had like so many sandpits and all, for about more than a month, he refused to go in the class because he was so joyous at the rate of playing in the sand, which I didn't let him because khana le, ye na kar le. So how in the sense we must question these small things that we are doing. For me, it was the right thing until I realized it wasn't. Right? I had not questioned it. And when I saw the joy, I said, "Kha bhi le to kha le," right? Like it's not worth it. And yet I keep stopping him. That's there. But
आई थिंक
yes,
दैट्स वाई,
Sarda
देखो
is
ना,
working.
जैसे बहुत ज़्यादा बच्चे लाइक टेंट्रम ही हो जाते हैं, फुल ऑफ टेंट्रम्स. सो दैट्स ओनली बिकॉज द एक्सपोजर इज नॉट देयर, है ना. जैसे ही आप उनको खुला मैदान में छोड़ दो, सैंड पिट्स में छोड़ दो, यू विल सी दैट दे कीप देमसेल्व्स बिजी, लाइक देयर ऑल. स्पेशली आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द इन्फेंट्स एंड ग्रोइंग अप स्टेजेस, लाइक ये जो लिटिल स्टेजेस है ना, उसमें और घर पे आप रखो तो देखो कितने परेशान होते हैं, इतने परेशान होते हैं छोटे बच्चे. करें क्या इसका, है ना, क्या करें. एंड देन गैजेट्स कम इनटू पिक्चर एंड अदर थिंग्स.
This relationship with food also, like we were discussing in the beginning, now most of the kids eat with the devices, right? Like they don't eat without watching, and we are force feeding the food, right? Like we don't even wait. I don't know, I don't want to go there, but even these devices, like these days on Facebook, I read posts that my child is having isolation issues, he doesn't want to talk to anybody, he's only happy when he's with his whatever iPod and iPad. And I don't see that I am the one who gave him the iPad because I didn't have time when he wanted me. That day I was in a car with somebody and there was a small child and he said, Mama, can you please sit with me in the back? With a lot of love on his face. And the mother just handed him her phone. Take this, let me. And for her, it was, she wanted to connect with the person who was sitting on the driver's seat. And yet, as a witness to the whole thing, so I'm telling the child that don't want me, don't look for me or my company. Here, take this. This is a replacement for me. Like, what a big thing I'm doing in just one small gesture. And if we are doing it, it's fine. But we don't know what we are doing is all, I think, is the thing here, that if we become aware, okay, this thing is leading to this, very soon he will not want to sit with me, right? He will just say, just leave me alone. I think the importance of again being mindful, being aware, it's like in each and every sphere of our lives, that it's just मतलब कहाँ पहुंच गए हैं हम, ऐसा लगता है ना. And it feels gloomy and complicated and muddy, and yet we can start anytime. We can, how I say is we can go back anytime. Like, and I personally know somebody, who usually passes these comments, ki, oh, he's doing this. Okay, he does Om. My child also used to do it. They stop very fast. He's interested in this. Oh, and when I looked at it, when I heard it for the first time, I was like, did they actually say that? And then I realized that it is out of their greatest concern. They are saying that, I was so happy when they did that, and I became so sad when they stopped. So I don't want the same for you. And that was the base, that they were kind of telling me not to now, kind of take that forever. Okay. So in our wanting to help, what are we doing again? it, it's best to, I don't know, laugh, because how long will you cry? And for what all?
Taru, can you share the strip again?
Yeah. Where should I focus? Last part or
हाँ, लास्ट वाला ही जो अभी पढ़ा था ना शायद अभी.
हाँ.
The dull, vulgar common sense. Yes, this is what it should be. Instead of making ordinary children ordinary with that dull, vulgar common sense, I think this is very important. Vulgar common sense, and how commonsensical we want to become, which becomes an inveterate habit. And when something is going well, immediately brings up in the being the idea, oh, that won't last. Yeah. When somebody is, and I think this is also an expression of our ill will, very subtle kind of ill will, that if something is going towards beauty, that won't last. So, very subtle kind of ill will, which usually we are not conscious even of. And when somebody is kind, so if somebody is generous, kind, the impression, oh, he will change. When one is capable of doing something, oh, tomorrow I won't be able to do it so well. I think this is something which we also say to our own selves, that आज तो मेरे से हो गया, but मैं ऐसी हूँ नहीं. Again, a kind of derogatory comment to our own selves, which we can stop. This is like an acid, a destructive acid in the being, which takes away hope, certitude, and confidence in future possibilities. And also, this, for example, this last paragraph, that if a child is enthusiastic, and yes, at present things are not like that, they seem ugly, but behind there is beauty that is trying to realize itself. um, Again, we can't directly say this, but hint at it, like, especially to the little ones, in implicit manners. So I remember there's one child who I know of, who is very uh, enthusiastic to open up instruments. Like if there is anything जहाँ पे पेच लगा होता है, so he would want to open it. And अगर आप, if you look at a like a modern day to day perspective, उसमें ऐसा लगेगा, no no no, don't destroy that thing, because when you open, it's gone. You actually can't put it together क्योंकि इतने छोटे 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 pieces हैं. But then I saw that with that child, that maybe he's so curious, he's wanting to know where is each part and what kind of pieces are inside. So now what that child does is that he brings up all the junk material which has screws, and then he spends hours kind of, whenever he's in the mood, spend hours in opening it up. And then he takes a paper like a A4 sheet, and then puts a lot of fevicol on it, and creates his own kind of an instrument with all the jumbled up pieces together. Now again, it can be seen in two ways. One is so destructive, don't do it. And one is realizing the intention what kid is having in doing this, that he wants to know all the aspects of that instruments. तो वही है, मतलब अगर हम, मतलब if I am running throughout my day, I can't imagine giving attention to these details. But if I am becoming conscious of my own self also, and I know these things are very important, then I would stop and attend.
I think one thing is very evident that I'm valuing the wrong thing.
Hmm.
ये बार बार it hits you. I'm valuing that shirt which costed, I don't know, whatever, but not the joy of the child who will, I don't know, roll in mud. It's it's very evident once you, if you start looking at it, right? Like a thing will get you, but that inner thing that he wants to know, there's so much beauty in that, right?
And as mother says, that the biggest tragedy is not to be able to find your soul and express it. That's the biggest. No shirt, every shirt can be torn apart, every, workplace can be burnt apart. The biggest tragedy is that you were not able to get in touch and able to express your soul. And children are doing that. Look, if we nurture, if we only take that attention to nurture, मतलब उनके केस में तो ये भी नहीं करना कि find out, dig out. They are naturally that. ये तो हम है because we have become masked because of our conditioning. So if I think a sensitivity can be there at this early years, something can be saved actually.
It's also seeming like a opposite of faith, right? One thing is have faith, and the other thing is like, how she's talking about acid. We are just saying, no, this is not possible. So again, I am so limited and I will obviously spill what I have.
मुझे लगता है एज अ पेरेंट आई सी दैट देयर वुड बी मेनी मेनी केसेस वेयर आई वुड नॉट बी एबल टू फुली अटेंड जैसे imagine that one day I am really really tired. Now the child wants to maybe go out at the middle of the night. I may not be able to every day attend to that, but then there would be several other occasions where I can attend. So I think not to again put too much of burden on our own selves also, because we too are a child of the mother. We have to remember that. uh, लेकिन वही है कि फिर बाकी अगर मोमेंट्स फुली लिव्ड हैं तो फिर एक आध जगह वेयर आई एम एबल टू टेक रेस्ट एंड not being there, I think they get kind of taken care, I feel, because nurture is there. It's not missing. And we were talking to, that day somebody had come and we were talking to college students. I had shared somebody had come from Odisha, some group of Madashi Aurobindo. So it was actually it's saddening, just like we can sense this gloom right now as we are discussing also. It's saddening to see in colleges also that phones have, they may have done good also. I don't know what good, some good they may have done, but especially younger generation, like all that matters is the phone. And I don't know, it's a bit lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are a bit lost.
In 2008, 2009, I used to work for a hospital in the US. And there once I was having my lunch alone and I saw a group of nursing students, like again in the age of maybe 18, 22, I don't know exactly. There were 6, 8 of them sitting on a table, all on their phone. And I thought they're all, I don't know, whatever. And later I realized, because the way they were laughing, they were all chatting on the phone with each other. Like they were sitting on the dining, in the dining area, on one table, and they were chatting with each other, and I was like, wow, like, so yeah.
So I think let's maybe take a moment of silence. And since we know that there is suffering at this level, whatever level we touched upon today, there is suffering, of course, there is pain. So maybe let's take 2 minutes to take in that pain which is there at the level of growing up, education, and may everyone find their true joy. May everyone have the courage to find their true joy and to follow. So, 2 minutes, let's do this. So, connecting with all of us who feel lost, who don't know what they're born for, may they find what they're born for. May they be able to follow. So, as Mother shares in prayers and meditations, may everyone have that true joy which comes when we unite with our own self.